welcome. So, as I was shuffling decks, a book came to mind, and I don't know what message wants to come through related to this book, but it's called Inventing Victoria. And it's a book I read a few years ago. It's part of the Coretta Scott King some kind of series of books that she has, like awards. I think it's like an honorary books of her collections, or ones that she sees. I think she recognizes authors or books and she recommends them for schools or something like that. But in any event, this book centers around a young woman, African American, and she ends up, long story short, learning how to become refined in the ways of being a lady, a well-to-do, older, affluent, rare in those days, African American, took her under her wing and kind of made her open her eyes up to higher society. So again, I don't know why that's coming to mind. That book was very good, very it left a lasting impression on me. It's really well written. You become immersed in the time, and you become impressed with the character of the young lady. I don't remember her name. Could have been Ruby. I have no idea. But it was a good book. So let's see, why is this coming up? Is this about you becoming more refined, for instance, because that's standing out to me? Or is this becoming like a level up for you? Because she certainly went from one status, I think post-slavery, to, high society, somebody well sought after, and, so maybe that's the part for you. Let's see. Just going to pull a few cards from a few decks to see what is the message, spirit, for someone in the collective. If anything from this part. What's this? You were the chosen one. It was said you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Wow. And this came out in reverse. So how do I interpret that? You were the chosen one. It was said you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Now the Sith, I guess that's like the let's say it's a group of light workers, whoever, wants to do good for humanity, for the earth, move things in a more progressive, heart-based environment or way of life, right? Wants to move humanity forward. I guess the Sith would be the ones that want to keep things the same. Maybe corrupt ones that want to keep the 1%, keep the people who are on top in control of the masses. That's what I'm getting from this. So you were chosen to not join. Like, say like you are Ruby, I'll call her, and I know that's not her name, I'm sorry. But let's just say Ruby. You become from rags to riches. Now you're part of high society. You were chosen or placed, in this path, in this kind of privileged situation, but not to join the corrupt ones. You were placed there to change things, to be in a position of power to change, not to keep the status quo. That's what I'm getting here. But since it's in the reverse, I'm thinking it's saying that is what you are supposed to do, and that it's expected that you won't. God, Spirit is saying they're entrusting you. You are chosen, but they know you won't maybe do like others have in the past. Misuse your power, abuse your power. You'll use it justly. in a dignified way. And they came out with the healer. Counseling and energy work, using your gifts, wholeness. Can't be more clear than that. Using your power to heal, not to harm, not to abuse, not to take away from anyone, not to take advantage of any groups. And then we have happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn to the light. These all three came out together. I got my answer. I didn't have to keep going and, popping out more cards. These were, Spirit gave me everything we need to know here. Why that book came to mind. Why I'm supposed to bring this up. Because somebody is going to teach others, their healer, their chosen one, that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. All you have to do is make that choice. No matter how dark it seems, it's a choice. You can choose to spiral, you can choose to go down a rabbit hole, or you can choose to say, no, yank those reins back. You know what I mean? Snap yourself out of it and be determined to see the light. Be determined to be the light for others. You're not going, what is good is it going to do others? As I was just saying earlier today, suppose I'm in a room with somebody, they're having a bad day. Not only am I going to remove myself from that lower vibration because I'm saving my energy, but it's not going to help the other person who finds their way out of that tunnel, let's say in an hour. And then I'm down in the ditch. I let them bring me down to that ditch, or I allow myself to be brought down to that ditch. And now what's going to happen? Now it becomes a vicious cycle of one of us pulling the other one up constantly. Let's just both keep ourselves up. How about that? That's what you can do for everyone. Keep yourself up. Don't get down with them. Don't let your energy sink. There'll always be a reason. So you don't even have to sit there and wonder why. Ask them to explain it why. Notice what happens. You're sitting with Margaret. Margaret had a bad day. Does Margaret really feel better if she recants the details of what made her miserable? Does it make you feel better? Absolutely not. It only sinks the vibration lower for both of you. Then the energy for the whole room is low. So now here comes Becky. She walks into the low vibe room, and it's like a sickness when you think about it that permeates anyone that comes into contact with it. No, seek the light. Turn on the light. Always can find your way back to the light. And I'm not saying you're a jack in a box or presto magic. I know it's sometimes depending on what, sock it to you real good. It can take a minute. You can be, stunned, and you have to bring yourself back to reality and say, it's not the end of the world. This too shall pass. This is just momentary. This is temporary. And find something that didn't go wrong around you. And be grateful that you still have that. Your child is still healthy. You know what I mean? Your lights are still on. The roof is not collapsed. It's always a reason to be grateful. Start thinking of those immediately to bring yourself out of the doldrums. The relationship is over. Guess what? They weren't really great for you anyway. So instead of thinking about how much you miss them and how much they're a god, which they're not, but that's the way you feel when the relationship is over, start thinking about all the good things you can do now that you couldn't do when you were maybe controlled. You know what I mean? Seeing yourself, how beautiful you are, that they took for granted and didn't see in you. See that the door is open for somebody that will appreciate you. And even if it's just you appreciating yourself without their intervention or without their, invasion of that? It's an I word for it. I don't know. Interference with it. So yeah, that's what I'm getting from that. Ethereal, otherworldly, lofty. That's a card that's remained on top here. Yeah, find your way to the ethers, to the otherworldly. Let your mind climb. You know what I mean? Above it all. Be above it all. Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, it's the smallest things that get people really worked up. Things that won't even matter in an hour. It certainly won't matter tomorrow. So don't let that ruin, you know, your mood, your vibe, your outlook, your subconscious mind, your manifestations. It's a ripple effect. It's not just about your mood. That one thing affects so many other things in your life. And like I said, Becky walking in the door. Now, Becky's manifestations, it is a ripple effect. It's truly one. All right, Spirit, what next? This deck. And then to Victoria. The halls of a Amenti, initiation, secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiation. Yeah, someone may be at the point of being initiated, that chosen one. Much is looked at you, high hopes, your ancestors, the other realms, the other, beings, whatever you believe in. I certainly believe in. There's more than just this 3D earth. So there's high hopes that you will be a part of the change of the new earth. There's a lot at stake. So this initiation is maybe some tests to see from the door, what are you going to do? Are you going to join like so many others before you that we had high hopes in? And when we gave them the opportunity, what did they do? They sold out. They did what was expected by the others around them. Like, okay, you're one of the good old boys or the good old girls. You're going to fall in line. You're not going to change anything. You wouldn't dare. Are you going to be brazen enough to really stand on business? Or will you fall in with the crowd? Will you do what's expected, which is more the same, so that nothing changes? You can be chosen, but it's up to you. What do you want to do with it? Lady of the Lake, surrender, expression, and revelation. Why is the Lady of the Lake coming out? Sounds like a sci-fi movie or a mystery movie. Let's see. The Lady of the Lake beckons you into her realm of ethereal. There's that word, ethereal, like I just mentioned right here. This top card. Beckons you into her realm of ethereal mist, shrouded in mystery, duality, and revelation. Here is where you connect with your inner world and the magic hidden within. She asks you to drop the veils of forgetting and minimizing yourself, to reveal all facets of you, your personal medicine, and the actualization of your highest soul expression. Let me skip a bit. The Lady of the Lake was a name for all the women who embodied the enchanting title of High Priestess and the otherworldly realm of Avalon. She was the primary space holder, working in collaboration with her sister priestesses. This is a reminder that it was not one, but many women who held and still hold space for the deep magic anchored through this sacred place. It's time for you to take your place in the lineage of priestesses. Devote yourself to daily practices of tending your inner sacred realms and engage in new ways to express your medicine in the world. I think this is saying, chosen one, given power, joining that line of people that have power, just as with this Lady of the Lake joins other priestesses, one of many, but going within to find a new way of expressing her soul and her inner magic. That is what the divine is asking of you as you claim or reclaim your power, as you take center stage, as you use and are able to wield power now, that you use it in a way that is very, very, very much remembering who you are and why you wanted this to begin with. Don't ever lose who you are while you are working with others. Maintain your position. And that's basically what the divine is asking you for. Let's get an angel number. This moment warrants an angel number. (1919) transformation. It is asked that you take notice that you hold within your hands the power to change your life. Within this realization, you will feel your sense of purpose and your connection to new beginnings. I release what I no longer need to carry, and I open myself to the transformative energy of the divine, allowing the divine to work through you to make those much needed changes for this new earth. Chosen ones. And to take notice that you hold within your hands the power. I keep saying that. You're granted the power now. Use it wisely. Use it on behalf of the divine and for the masses. Not just for one small group, not for one little interest, not for one. This earth belongs to all of us. No more is it to be, siphoned for a few. You know what I mean? The few don't get to benefit more than the masses do. That's not the way the new earth is going to be. So we must remember that moving forward. And don't let anyone corrupt you. And with that, I will see you in the next reading.